What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Bryce Talk Show. I hope everybody's doing well. Today, we've got a lot to discuss, and I've got a lot to discuss on this episode, as usual, but this is a lot more to discuss, so I'm going to try to make this as interesting as possible. Today, I'm going to do a recap on a short little talk about the Thanksgiving weekend, but then I'm going to go straight into a year in review of 2025. That's right, it's that time. I'm going to start making these. If you enjoy, please subscribe to the channel. Share this around. If you're new here, welcome. Check out my other content too. There's lots of stuff you might like, including Bryce Talk Show and other stuff I have on this channel. Without further ado, let's get started. So, we're going to talk a little bit about this Thanksgiving weekend, starting with Thursday. Had two get-togethers with my mother's mom and my grandma and biological father. So we went to these places, had lots from like turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and applesauce and even brownies. So that was my mother's mom's. One of my grandmothers. I got a few. Then I went to my grandma's and I just had ham and turkey and mashed potatoes. I didn't want anything else because I had a lot in that other gathering. And there's lots of people were there during that time. Lots of stuff going on, hanging out, talking, laughing. Football. Well, we had football on all the time since 1 o'clock. So, I mean, I was enjoy that stuff. Friday, not too much of flying the remote control helicopters and UFOs and stuff. And doing the stuff I do best. Listen to the Bears beat the Eagles. Bengals lost on Thursday. So, and then Saturday we got to talk about the big game, because we had Buckeyes and Michigan, the big game. Wasn't sure what was going to happen during that time, but it was quite fun, and we ended up winning the game against the team up north, as they say. And we're actually going to be playing Indiana Saturday at 6:30. Don't miss it. It's probably going to be dope. And I got to talk about the dude who headbutted people, like the refs. Like, during that beginning, you think they would have kicked his ass out, because you don't do that. I mean, that's what everybody else was saying. Like, hey, why isn't this dude kicked out? Should have been disqualified from the game. I mean, isn't that pretty? And there were so many unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that both teams had. At first, the offensive line for the Buckeyes, they just couldn't keep it going in the first half. I mean, it just looked like they were struggling. Took them the second half, and then we got us up to 18 points. 27-9 was the final score. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Not that much Sunday, just more football. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, Friday I was listening to Diplo's Transgiving. So remember last year, Diplo's Revolution had Transgiving on Sirius XM, which I wish they would have kept to the whole weekend till like Sunday. Last year, Transgiving lasted till like Sunday. Started Thursday and then ended it on Sunday. I got a couple recordings, I think, on Friday, but But yeah, Sunday not too much going on. Grandma asked a question. If I were to bring a series of the stupid questions people ask, this would be one of them. Okay, so she asked, when is Cyber Monday? When is Cyber Monday? I'm not kidding you. And some might not say it's stupid. People would be like, it's alright. It's 4 days after Thanksgiving. It's been that way for how long? And yeah, she's in her mid-70s. I get it. But I'm just like, what the hell? I mean, and I was laughing. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, did you really just ask when Cyber Monday was? Really? I get it. I mean, there was always Black Friday. The internet came along in the 90s. Of course, wasn't big till recently in the mid-2000s. You had Cyber Monday getting huge every year. But like the fact she's been asking, hey, when's Cyber Monday? When will that be? Oh my god. So I just had to talk about that. Let's move on to our 2025 recap, shall we? I'll talk a little bit my 2 cents into what I think of the year. So, like always, the years have up and downs, and I'm going to talk about mine, and this year was great. Why? Because I left for Florida so I wouldn't have to be in this shit. And I prefer to be there instead. We were there for the 1st through the 6th. I'm not going to go too much detail into this because, I mean, some already know. If not, go to Bryce Talk Show episode 10, season 5, episode 10 of the Bryce Talk Show. That was published on January the 7th. That's 5/10 on the Bryce Talk Show. You can hear more about that. But I'll try to keep it blunt and short. Lots of fun, swimming, shopping, or just chilling, golf carts. Yeah, we have a golf cart. Hot tub, a new hot tub at the community clubhouse, the Shady Palm. Met these 2 ladies there, young. One was in high school, one was in college. Did go to Twin Peaks there. They have a Twin Peaks, although I kind of like the one we have here in Ohio. Of course, I've been there plenty of times. I-75 on the way back to the airport was closed, so we were stranded on there trying to get in there. Luckily, we made it because we would have missed the flight, although I wouldn't give a shit because I hate me here regardless, so fuck off! But on top of that, I met someone I would say could possibly be friend Lucy Lou, who I call Lucy Lou because it's my nickname. She was sitting on my right, and I believe her parents were in the back of the plane, I think. She was 23, same age as me, and then, I turned 24 in April, but alright, we're going to talk a little bit, and we were talking about things she'd done, study at Miami University, her volunteer stuff, like at the Columbus Air Show, which I went because I got tickets to the Thunderbirds, which you guys know. I don't know if I hope she went this year to the Blue Angels. We were talking about she volunteered at the Memorial Tournament, which I thought was neat. And then we talked about my papa, my grandpa. He never liked flying. Well, the funny thing is, he worked as an airplane mechanic. In fact, had his company, VP Aviation, in Tampa. We were joking about that, and then we talked about how he died, and then talked about how she lost hers in a few months ago. And just random conversations. But then I would play Time to Say Goodbye by Timmy Trumpet and Blaster Jacks, and more music, and then watch Sopranos. This wasn't the first time I met someone who I liked on a plane. 3 years ago, I was headed for Clearwater during that trip that I was going to do 2 weeks from Punta Gorda, and then I went to Tampa. Met some wonderful, wonderful person on there named Melanie, and she was a wonderful, and she was actually a flight attendant too, she was a part of the crew. Would love to reconnect with her again. My God, man, and hell, even I know I didn't get to know too much more of her personally, but then helpful, warm, friendly. Not part of it was her job, but sometimes people are special, right? And then we exchanged, I miss yous and hugs at the end when we left, which was quite nice. But that was during the Christmas trip that I took 3 years ago. So that was quite cool. Had an interview with Steak and Shake the day after for the team member. Just for a team member. Shocker, didn't get it. And then the day after that, the case I had for OOD, the Ohioans with Disabilities, that closed because of lack of progress, because people just can't seem to respond, or either said didn't qualify for their job, or, because I applied for so many places, mainly in customer service, and for example, phones, computers, data entry, all that shit. And, been working on that for a year. I mean, I might occasionally send apps in, but, even then, it was that bad that that was closed. So I kind of put on a halt on sending apps for a while until about recently. We did have the Ohio State Buckeyes and Texas, which was on the 10th, 4 days after I came back home, which didn't really know what was going to happen then, but, they're the Buckeyes, and they make anything happen. Especially towards the end when Jack Sawyer scooped in and scored and got us the touchdown we needed, and then we played Notre Dame, and then we became CFP champs. That also was the same time that Donald Trump became president again, and this dude never sleeps. And, does what he can to make the place great. One of those goals for this year, I wanted to, one of the goals was I wanted to try to reunite with someone who I've showed in a couple vlogs, like the air show vlog and the Circleville Pumpkin Show vlog of this year, and that was with Creighton. Now, we talked last year, we reconnected last year thanks to Dane and on our Team Talk server. Dane actually brought him on his server, and then we exchanged numbers after that. Now, I know him from school, Creighton from school back in the day, which some of you don't know, some of you do. I also met him from school. So after months and months of planning, we actually met in person in July, which was the 14th, and we did stuff like the air show and the pumpkin show, and even on the Bryce podcast, I put him on there, which, if you're not familiar with that, is the podcast kind of like the Bryce Talk show, not seasonal, like it doesn't have a season like season 6 episode 3, like the title says of the Bryce Talk show, S6EP3. Just all episodes, kind of the same vibe, sort of. And it's on most platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So, if you like this, check that out. Still flying the remote control helicopters. Still having to buy some because they break. Still going to my hangout spot, Twin Peaks, finding all these friends of girls that I like hanging around with. Kenzie, shout out to you. I had to reorder one of my radios, too. This year, the Texan PL880, because when I was down in Florida, the antenna got loose. So that was kind of crazy. The antenna got loose, and it was pretty crazy because I had to get rid of it. There was no other way we could screw it in there because it had to be that exact screw because the screw was missing. So I just reordered that same one. But it wasn't too bad because I also had the Kudosin DX286, which is another good radio. And I was also exploring with the Bofang, the BFF8HP Pro. Now, in the world of AI this year, it's been pretty big. Suno launched V5. Well, actually, they launched 2 models. Suno 4.5 and Suno 5. And ChatGPT has GPT-5 now. In addition, this year has been pretty big for OpenAI because OpenAI just released Sora 2 recently in October or sometime then, where you now can have sound with your video, because previously they released Sora last year with just images and you could add your sound effects, and I think that's how the 11 Labs thing with the sound effects became thing. But now you can have audio and speech and sound and all that in your video. Now the videos are up to 10 seconds, which is kind of meh, but it's still pretty fun. I've done a lot of stuff with it, except bad thing is how restrictive they've become, even for the littlest things. It is quite fun. Just wish it wasn't so bad. But I have used it to make a lot of things like Vince McMahon wrestling with Jake Paul, dogs on a treadmill, Diplo and Sam Altman playing Wii Sports, or random events. Or random videos, but just to name a few. It's been very interesting. And I'm still been using Notebook LM because, that's cool. 11 Labs has an app now, so that's cool. Because I use 11 Labs, especially for voice cloning and sound effects, although that's not, sound effects isn't the app, that's on the website. But I got use a lot of that stuff, do a lot of stuff with 11 Labs, but they got an app. Speaking of Notebook LM, you actually have explainer videos. You can do deep dives on videos, not just audio overviews like the deep dives you may have seen before, which is pretty neat if you think about it. Now they have rearranged the Apple Notebook LM. Now you can do quizzes on your sources. You can do flashcards, mind maps, a lot of new stuff with Notebook LM now. And they have an app on the App Store, which released it back in May. It's been going pretty well, so I like that, and so yeah. Speaking of Suno, recently this past month, November, Suno made a deal with the Warner Music Group, one of the biggest models, because I don't know if they got sued or something, but they made a deal. So apparently, this makes good for new models and stuff for licensed tracks now, I guess. Except the only thing is, if you're a free user, you can't download your own songs. If you're a free user, which I guess I could screen record those if I wanted to. Or pay for it, at least for a year. Yearly subscription, either way. I did a lot of stuff with Suno, making my own songs, but also remixing other songs, like the Wii Sports songs. I put all the songs, like the bowling soundtrack and the Wii Sports boxing results soundtrack and some of the stuff like that, and well, different things beside that. And I made a song about Florida when I went down back in March, which I'll talk about too. I went down back in March and made a song about that in March, so it's called Guess Who's Back. It was quite a fun song. So yeah, we had a lot of current events, like Trump being in the White House, and Charlie Kirk was shot on recently, September 10th, which is crazy. Lots of people protesting the ICE, the immigration, all that stuff going down. Jimmy Kimmel was canceled because of a speech he made on Charlie Kirk. He was only off the air for what, a week, 2 weeks, so long, and then he was put back on. Yeah, it was crazy. Looks like the Palestine, the Gaza war might be over with after the peace talks, after the peace treaty that was just signed recently. Now we need to finish the one in Ukraine and Russia. Now, lastly, after that, I'm not gonna be too much into big stuff. Just a couple things here. Now, I did join an app called Jacket.fm, which I talked about before, and it's the social media app made by one developer. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. It was basically, this developer, Rohit, made it. It was pretty big in the blind community especially, but everybody used it. And he also had the website, Jacket.fm, but the app was better. Share audio, upload audio, although it only supported M4A files. You could go live. They're called live booths, so you could do like an audio live stream, which on this new app, Ramblio, it's called Hangouts. And yeah, it was quite a neat thing that we have, thanks to Josh S now. But Rohit made this app, Jacket.fm. I guess he made it in 2024, I guess, because it was out for a year. So November 2024, maybe I don't know exactly when it was released. But I joined at the start of March, and I had lots of stuff, including when I would do my, do little recordings and share my little DJ sets that I've done, because I've been using my new Hercules DJ Control Mix little DJ controller this year, and doing some cool recordings with it and doing some jam sessions. But I also shared, personal, journals and recordings and deep dives with Notebook LM, just about everything. In fact, I made a channel based about Notebook LM deep dives. We'll talk about the channels. So before it was named channels, it was actually panels, and it was basically like community driven. You can make a panel based on your interests. So there's like an AI music panel that somebody made that I contributed to. There's a panel that I made called the Wayback Machine. It was actually, I made it the day after my birthday. And it was so I could share like old recordings that I've done for like the past, I got like 13 plus years of recordings of anything and everything. Adventures, random chatter, journaling, just anything that I had. Even my last trick-or-treating in 2013 when I was like 12. That was up there. So, but you could also share just to your profile. You didn't have to put it into a channel if you didn't want to contribute to a certain community. But then Rohit, basically put everything into channels, so that way everything could be organized into a channel. So if for example, my Wayback Machine panel was turned into a channel, you had the series channel and the channel that you made. The series channel was like auto-generated, and it was just that, or you could make your own series. But I won't go too deep into that. There's a lot when it comes to Jacket. But I did talk about that before in one of the Bryce Talk shows I did. And we had the town square where a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't on any channel was moved to, which kind of cluttered the whole thing, which is kind of like a town hall. But I think it was good for like sharing promotions or sharing announcements or all this other stuff, but everything just got flooded in there. People put all kinds of stuff in there, not putting it in their own channels. And also people were starting shit. So the app shut down in July because of the lack of moderation and all that. But I'm on Ramblio now, and it's a lot better. And it's different. Well, except we don't have the whole channel thing. So I like that. It was quite a cool thing. Still been recording radio. Plug my recorder into the radio and get a nice recording of the radio. That's how I share these radio recordings and air checks on YouTube. Now, for the Florida trip in March, I went through from March 24th and March 31st, and I made daily vlogs again. So I had daily vlogs for the New Year's trip and daily vlogs for the spring break trip. I actually call it spring break trip because we went on spring break, kind of. Lots of cool stuff on that. Some mishaps, like the AC not working, which we had to get working again. The pull heater wasn't on. But we, still pretty had a good time doing my usual shit, swimming and just having a time outside. You got the lanai there I could eat at. So I'd be in Naples. Took that Naples trip, fly into Fort Myers and go to Naples like usually. And Grandma's house and did that trip. So, it was quite cool. And this time I didn't go to Twin Peaks, I went to Hooters. Although I've been to the Hooters down there. It is kind of nice and bigger. So, yeah. And you can't forget going to Ross Dress for Less, because you gotta go there, right? And Beals. So there's still plenty of that. Yeah, the Florida trip was pretty cool, and except for sometimes my GoPro footages were blurry, which I didn't like. But it was quite fun. And I got the helicopter for Florida too. When my aunt and Amy and I were playing Jaw Rule, and Grandma thought it was Jelly Roll, and I said, "What the fuck? That is not Jelly Roll. That is Jaw Rule." And it was laughable. It reminded me last time when Grandma mixed up with, I was playing Tool, and she mixed up with Blake Shelton. I'm like, bro, that is not Blake Shelton. That is two different things. That is rock and roll music, and you're saying that is Blake Shelton. What the hell? And I was in the pool that time last year when that happened, when I was here in Ohio. But yeah, that was weird. But lots of cool stuff, and that's how some of the recordings of radio I put on YouTube as well. Also, this summer was cool. I did biking, and well, I should say my birthday was on the April 17th on a spring, so that was cool. And then Easter was on 420 day, so that was kind of cool. And I was doing all the things, going back, even hit Brew Dog, the bar and the restaurant and Polaris, and do a little keno and hanging out and all that. 2 days after. And I did find a turtle after a few days after when I came back home, and I found a turtle. So I was going to Value City Furniture, and I found a turtle. A turtle was sitting there, and I was like, well, "What's going on? Why is there a turtle there?" Well, a turtle was on the road. A car was spinning him a little bit. So so guess what? We took him home. Well, we didn't take him inside the house. We took it, and there's a pond nearby. We kind of showed it on video. Hey, we found this turtle, and put it in the pond. And this summer was pretty cool because I did, like I said, biking. I got a swing set out back. I got a pool, of course, at home. At home, I got above ground. Grandma has her in-ground pool, which is a lot better. And with my DXing with the radio, doing the radio, that was great in the summer because you have tropo and sporadic E-skip. Although tropo can happen any time of the year, bestly known in the spring, fall, and summer. And I got stuff from all over the place, and especially with sporadic E-skip, like the one on July 4th when I got like stuff out of Iowa, stuff like in Nebraska, Maine, Louisiana. One of my E-skips, I think back in June when there was skip going on. KDEM 90.3, the NPR affiliate. Let's see. July 4th got 95.3, the Thunderbird, in July. And that was from Nebraska, and that Catholic station in Maine, 88.3 FM, which came in and out. And what else? A couple different types of them came in on July 4th, but I think July 4th was probably the best of them. But I swam at home, made waves like I always do. I like doing that, making waves and doing what I do best. Making waves, playing music on the Bluetooth speaker, the Mega Boom 3, and sometimes the Wonder Boom. You got a little remote control boat there. Some might give that like a race, moving around back and forth. And this year had a lot of fires too. My biological father and I would do fires, and his girlfriend would be over there with us, and we do fires outside in the back. And so, one thing I like to do is put firecrackers in the fireplace, which some of y'all know, which is quite fun and crazy. You have firecrackers in the fireplace, and they just blow up. And they just blow up. And we can't forget about the bang snaps. I still use these adult snaps, the bang snaps. I have no adult snaps at all now because I used all my shit. I don't have any more. So that sucks. I think the last couple of ones I had was in the midsummer fall because I had bang snaps that I got last year that I've used. And a lot of them, I used a couple during the fall and spring, all that. But we also got some bang snaps at Prism Fireworks. Not in Columbus. Columbus doesn't have shit with those fireworks. Obviously it wasn't in the city, because the city doesn't sell that stuff. Now last year I got them because my parents went to a place, TNT Fireworks in Tennessee. And they had these snaps, which are loud as hell. And, there's my damn radio. So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that. And 4th of July was quite fun too. We swam, did fireworks. As some of y'all know, saw the video on YouTube, did fireworks of all kinds, like mortars and, of course, my bang snaps. Firecrackers, bottle rockets. Did I mention mortars? More mortars and more mortars. And it was just a lot of fun with that. And so that's why I do it. Now, we also had Zippos, the ones that go and they go up in the air crazy fast. So you had lots of things. But we did a couple mortars all year round. Well, not year round because I ran out. But I would still do firecrackers until I had the last of them. But we still have bottle rockets from the one we got recently, and the one last year we got at Prism. And there was a lot. We still have rockets from I still let off. Yeah, the 4th of July was great. Still DJing, still using the DJ controller, and making sets too during this time. And throughout all the time, and still do it. Biking, swinging, swimming. All 9 yards. And then, of course, I told you about, Creighton and I getting back together in person. It was kind of cool when we first got together because you kind of got to see the house. Meet Crazy, our dog Eddie. We like to call him Crazy because he's crazy and fun. And he swam for the first time in a long time. I think he liked it. And because it hadn't been in a while. I think he enjoyed himself. He definitely liked that couch. He got a leather couch. He likes that leather couch. Then, this summer I also got new equipment here. The B-Link. The PC I have right now recording this running Windows 11 Pro. Which, he actually got me too because he got himself one. And they're like $400, $300. So, both of us got one. And it's running 11 Pro. It's got AMD Ryzen 9 graphics, and it's pretty cool, and it's got a lot of RAM, memory, and storage, 32 gigs, and terabyte of space can be taken apart and put 8 terabytes if you wanted. So yeah, it's lots and lots of fun. So, and then we started staying the night, like for the air show and for the pumpkin shows in Circleville recently. So, and speaking of the air show, I want to talk. We went to the air show on August 22nd, which was when the Blue Angels came, and that was a fun vlog too, because it was the first one with him and I on the vlog, and yeah, it was quite cool, yeah. So I was glad we got to do that. Lots of planes, vehicles, and the Coast Guard. Lots of demonstrations, simulations, Cessnas, and everything between. And then, of course, lastly, the Blue Angels. So, I mean, it's pretty much all-day event. And it was hot. Luckily, I didn't get too burnt. I mean, I was fried, but not burnt. On Creighton's side, I think he got burnt. But I was fried. I could kind of feel I was burned a little bit, but I was fine. I wasn't, surprisingly not sunburnt after that. But yeah, lots of swimming again, and speaking of the radio, I have been using the Kodosin DX286 for DXing and the Texan, and these two radios are great. And I got to show Creighton the radios this year, because he's kind of a geek himself. He is a geek. So, yeah, it's kind of cool to show him that. It's also cool sitting in the bars and with the patios, like, for example, like when I go to Twin Peaks and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to do that stuff, sit in the patio like that. Well, it's nice audio. Now, I got the Bop It button too this year. The Bop It button made by Bop It for Good. You can get it at bopitforgood.com. It's actually the 25th or, yeah. some 20th anniversary Bop It edition, 25th anniversary Bop It. Has all the Bop It, all the sounds of the Bop It's from like the old Bop It's to the extremes to the Smash to the XT. I don't know about the XT, but it just has sounds from that, and it'll tell you do bop it, don't bop it. It's pretty. I did a video on that demonstrating that one. But football's back, and I've been enjoying that, as you can tell. My mother's side of the family has a football pool on CBS Sports, which is fun. I like to do that. Just enjoy the games regardless, and we do that. And I think Saturday night this weekend we'll do football with a side of wings from Wingstop. I think we're gonna do that. Try to do the hottest wings there is. No, I probably usually would do chili dogs. I like chili dogs on game day, especially Saturday, the Buckeyes. But hot wings like that is gonna be dope. Yeah, lots of stuff with that. Football's back, and then fall came, and then so comes winter in a few days, and it'll be shitty. And then I really will hate where I am. Man, yeah, but fall, did my last minute bikes and all that stuff like that, Trying to think of some other cool stuff that went down, because, it was, something. I did notice something weird. Not weird, but I did notice something. We were going to Ross Dress for Less, the one here in Polaris, in Ohio, on Halloween, and at one point they were playing a Christmas song in Halloween. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why are we playing that in Halloween? Come on, why? So, yeah. And so, it all comes up to this now. The holidays are coming. Thanksgiving happened, and Christmas is on the way. I don't know if I'll be in Florida again. I'll probably be in this shithole. And I don't, I know my parents aren't going. They know the flights are expensive, and they are. And I don't know about what grandma was doing, but it's not just about that. It's like, bro, it's everything. There's fucking great, man. So, I might try to do Christmas vloggers. I don't know. I might do Christmas vlog. I have no clue what we'll do. I'm gonna try to get a vlog in for the Christmas holidays. Those are always fun, right? Showing the kind of gatherings and the things that goes down. So I hope we can do that, and I hope I can get the fuck out of here, because I hate being this shit. And I'll come back. Fuck off. And it'd be nice, because then I wouldn't have to be here. Alright? Now, so, yeah, so overall the year is pretty good. Except, the fact of living at home where, how controlling and strict my damn parents are, and, their lifestyle, how these Christian parents are. I can't stand it. I want to fucking leave. And, and you know how they are in their rules and all their stuff that I care less for. But anyway, that's all I got. That's all we got for what we got to talk about. So without further ado, if you enjoyed this episode of the Bryce Talk Show, if you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and share the video. And if you haven't checked out the Bryce Podcast, you can do so. And I got a big announcement. The TikTok compilation of 2025 is underway. I'll be working on it. Yes, it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. I will be making the best TikTok videos of 2025 compilation, featuring not only myself, but other users as well, whom I've watched, who I follow, and just random videos that pop up on my For You page, or videos I searched. I will get that out. I might have it premiere on 8 p.m. Eastern on New Year's Eve, and possibly, maybe. So stick around for that. Enjoy. Peace. Go Bucks.